Thank you, Kim. I'll call the meeting of the Salaries and Emoluments Commission to order. It's about 2:25. We started a few minutes late. There is, well, I think we better take roll because there's one person on teleconference. Matthew, could you just do a quick roll call, please? Just because we have someone on teleconference, could you just call the roll? Okay.
Good job. Yeah.
Here.
Here.
I'm here.
You know, they're like, telling me something, I love it dearly. And then I thought, well, then.
Member Jetson, are you on the phone?
Yes.
Thank you.
You just need that.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Muted.
In fact, all members are
Unmuted.
present. You have a draft agenda in front of you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
This is Kim. I move to approve the agenda.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any objections to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is the minutes of the previous meeting. We did get emailed minutes. I don't know if everybody has a hard copy in front of them or not.
Okay.
There's no hard copy. I can, if anyone wants to see it, I have a copy here. You want to? Okay. Okay. You've got it. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of June 27th?
Stay on. I move to approve the minutes of June 22nd. Did you say June 22nd?
27th.
27th.
Oh, sorry, October 2nd.
I was going to
Sorry,
say,
October
I'm
2nd.
going to say, I changed my motion. I move to approve the minutes of the meeting of October 2nd, 2024.
This is Kim. I'll second that motion.
Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, and hearing no objection, the minutes are approved. Next on the agenda is unfinished business, which is assembly member benefits. I believe there's people who are here to testify. Is that correct? Is there anyone in the audience that wants to testify on this issue?
Do we have to have a motion to put it on the floor first?
You could put it on the floor first. Do you want to move it?
I move that we approve the resolution to approve increased health benefits for the Anchorage Assembly.
Clarifying question. If we move and second this ordinance to open it up for public testimony, do we still have the ability to amend it? I just want to make sure because I know we want to have a robust discussion. I will second the motion.
Yes, and it would be, since the resolution already has a number, it would be helpful to move it under the number.
Resolution number 2024-2.
This is Kim Hayes. I'll second that motion.
Okay, there is a draft in front of us, which is labeled Resolution 2024-2. We're now ready for discussion on the motion. I think maybe I'll just go first. I want to flag one thing. There was some uncertainty after the last meeting as to which benefits were being moved. And this resolution is drafted as if it is I guess what you'd call the normal benefit package. But I think that a lot of the discussion and the testimony that we had pertains specifically to health benefits. So I think that one of the things that has to be, flagged is we could act on health benefits, or we could act on this resolution, and there is a discrepancy, and it has to do with the life and retirement benefits reference in the resolution. Karen?
This is Karen. I do have concerns on section 2 on this resolution because it adds, number one, it talks about the assembly members as being executive employees. It talks about them having same health, life, and retirement benefits as other executive employees. Again, they're not considered executive employees or elected officials. The meetings that we've had regarding have been limited to health benefits. We have not discussed life or retirement benefits at all as it relates to the assembly members. So everything has been designated around health benefits. And for those of us who were here in when we first started on this process and we're hearing some testimony, I asked everybody who came up and spoke of what their definition of benefits were. And every single person had said health is what they were concerned with, what the issue was about. And so adding these other things are not items that we had discussed at all. Thank you.
Kim?
This is Kim, and I'm hoping to get some clarification from Matt. There was some disagreement about section 2 and the definition of executive employees. Can we get clarification from someone from the muni about what assembly members are considered for this purpose?
Elizabeth Volstead, Director of Employee Benefits. Under our Section 125 document, which allows us to provide a municipal contribution to our employees that is pre-taxed, we do not recognize the assembly members as employees. They are recognized as board members. And just one more thing is regarding the retirement. Assembly members are considered elected officials by the Public Employees Retirement System. They have the option to opt out of retirement. Employees are mandated to participate in PERS if they are in a PERS position.
Follow-up question. This is Kim Hayes. Mayor of Anchorage, also an elected position. Are the benefits different for the mayor of Anchorage versus assembly members?
So the mayor of Anchorage is mandated to participate in PERS. So they have to participate in the Public Employees Retirement System. And the mayor receives a municipal contribution. So they do not receive the stipend that the assembly members receive. And the mayor is able, we consider the mayor an employee, so they are able to participate in all of our benefits. There are other benefits not listed that the assembly members are not able to participate in.
Let me, sorry. So elected officials, in the case of the mayor, are different than elected officials in the case of assembly members because assembly members are considered board members. Is that a summary of what you said?
You're mixing and matching. So
Okay.
by definition with PERS, assembly members are elected officials that have the option to opt out of a Public Employees Retirement System retirement. Whereas employees within a PERS position are mandated to participate in PERS. Under our Section 125 document, which is what we have with the IRS to offer a municipal contribution at a pre-tax basis, they would be considered board members. So those are two entirely different things.
Okay, focusing just on the health benefits then, is the tax treatment different for board members than for the mayor? Are the same, hypothetically, if this were passed, would the
The-
rules
the-
be the same, or is there something different?
The mayor receives their municipal contribution for their health insurance on a pre-tax basis.
And if this resolution were to go forward, at least the part pertaining to health benefits, would that also be a pre-tax basis?
That depends
contribution?
upon how this commission is hoping to pay this out. If you wish to increase their existing stipend, then no, it would be taxable income because they would receive that stipend regardless of if they elected insurance or not. If you wanted to make this a municipal contribution, we would have to alter our Section 125 document to make it allowable, and then it could be pre-taxed at that point in time.
You're- the jargon of what a Section 125 document is a little above my head. Is that, what's the process for that? Is that something that you just up and do, or is that a convoluted process? I mean, how do you create a Section 125 document?
It's not something that I'm going to snap my fingers and be able to have done by the 1st of January. There's a process involved where we have to draft it. We have to make sure that the verbiage is accurate, and then we have to make sure that it's filed and appropriately accepted, signatures, et cetera.
So is it filed with the IRS?
Yes.
And then about how long do we hear back from the IRS?
I honestly could not give you an answer on that because I was not involved in the last time that we did an amendment.
This, just some clarification. So on this language that was written here, I'm just going to exclude the life and the retirement benefits. Going with the health benefits is basically the stipend goes away, or we give them the health benefits where it's taxable.
Okay,
And the language that's written here doesn't really clarify what we're doing. Is that?
that is correct.
Through the chair to Member Norsworthy. I am Ona Browse, Director of the Office of Management and Budget. I think one of the questions to consider here is what is the goal of both the commission and also the drafters of the document. And I think one of the challenges that we're seeing is that the implementation is more complicated than this piece of paper may allude to. That doesn't mean it's not possible to make those adjustments and include the healthcare benefits. It's just that we have to use very specific language in order to adhere to current IRS determinations and any IRS determinations that we may have to file for in order to make the assembly members, the legislative branch, eligible for this municipal contribution the same way the mayor is eligible, the same way our executive members are eligible for the municipal healthcare contribution. I think that to the conversation that the commission has been having at large has been focused specifically on healthcare in particular. If the any language can be amended within this document, I think we can come up with some operational amendments or language between Mr. Farina and Mr. Hurt and us and figure out if that's acceptable depending on how you would like to move forward. But there are some operational challenges to implementing the document as written, but that doesn't mean that the overall outcome of it is necessarily impossible by the municipal operations side.
Thanks for that explanation. So now on the concern about the language that says the some assembly members shall be considered executive employees. Does that sweep in anything else other than what we're, talking about here?
To the chair, I think that's part of the challenge is that we are not clear on exactly what the ramifications of that may be because we have only been contemplating the healthcare discussion.
This is Kim. Trying to get to a simple solution because to Ms. Brouse's point, our goal in asking for this draft was to allow assembly members to opt into the municipal health care that is enjoyed by municipal employees. So I'm hoping that we as a commission can consider what are some relatively straightforward amendments to the Section 2 area that accomplish that. Sounds like we have two problems. Considering them as executive employees, there's got to be a different word choice we can use. And then it sounds like we need to strike everything besides health, right? Those are two different things to deal with. I think striking everything besides health is the easiest part, but how do we speak about them, how they're being, is it for the purposes of benefits, assembly members shall be considered executive employees only in the case of health benefits, or do we need to remove executive employees totally because it infers something that we're not thinking about? So what's another, shall be considered, that's where I'm thinking, that's where I'm going.
Well, I do need to clarify something. So currently, assembly members are entitled to participate in our health insurance, our voluntary life insurance, and our voluntary retirement plans. So it's not that they're not eligible. They are currently eligible. It's just that they do not receive the municipal contribution. So I think that that's important to reiterate that they are currently eligible for health insurance, voluntary life insurance, and voluntary retirement. So this language, if voluntary life and voluntary retirement were put in there, that could help clarify that. But I definitely would strike considered executive employees.
So I have one more question and then Matt, I think you probably helped me out here. So something like for the purpose of benefits, assembly members shall be entitled to receive health benefit. It doesn't need to say how they're considered. I do know that one of the things we knew they were eligible to participate, but we did want to include that municipal contribution because we wanted to make sure it was something that people could run for office and that not be a barrier, right? So thank you for the clarification on the record. But Matt, do you have any other insight for us?
So just through the chair, this is Matt. For when I was drafting this at your request, I did speak a lot to HR and multiple different people in HR. And the reason it is laid out as in health, life, and retirement is because some of the benefits that were discussed during the previous meetings were considered life and not health, like short-term disability. Or no, not short-term disability. Which ones are they? I'll defer.
They do not receive short-term disability or long-term disability or employer-paid life insurance.
So if I can ask a clarifying question, I'm not asking what they get now. I'm saying which ones are considered life.
What they receive now is health insurance, voluntary life insurance, voluntary dependent life insurance, and voluntary retirement if they elect those items.
Sorry, just another clarifying question. Is short-term disability and long-term disability a health benefit or a life benefit?
They are neither. They are a disability insurance. They do not fall under the category of health insurance. They do not fall under the category of life insurance. They're strictly a disability insurance that's based off of leave.
Got it. Okay, cool. That was one of the questions. That's why I tried to list them when I was speaking with HR to make sure I got all the categories, but apparently I missed one. So I do have amended versions of this already addressing a lot of these questions that were proposed earlier. So I'm not totally sure on the rules of how that worked, but it is possible that I can get them printed and distributed pretty quickly.
So since all of our conversations and our meeting have been around health insurance and what we wanted to provide, why do we have to include the life and retirement in there? Because this is just, it seems like it gives the appearance that we're adding those in, even though they still have the voluntary option unless we were going to change that. It seems to me we should leave it off.
I think at the time it was, we were looking for easiest language, but now knowing there was not clarity about what they were considered. So I think it's an easy fix. We should consider cleaning it up. And I don't know about how we go about introducing potential new drafts.
If we were to do a potential new draft, I think it would be pretty easy to move it as an amendment to this draft. I have a different question, and I think I asked this once before, but I can't recall exactly how you answered it, so I'm asking. In the case of I guess an executive employee, just some generic different executive employee, does that employee have the option to participate in the health insurance plan, or is it mandatory? And I think I remembered you answered it was kind of optional, and you could opt out and get a diminished compensation instead. And what does, excluding the life and retirement and all, what does this resolution do, if anything, that's different from what that would be?
So currently, an executive employee does have the option to elect our health insurance. And should they do so, they receive a municipal contribution towards their health insurance premium. They also have the option of opting out. If they do that, then they get a diminished contribution. Actually, we call it an incentive, and they receive $4,500 a year.
Thanks for refreshing my memory. I know you explained that to me before, but I wanted to refresh my memory. Thank you.
And that's actually one of the operative challenges in part of this this resolution is specifically if the legislative branch is onboarded with the executive plan option and has the opportunity to opt out of the healthcare plan. Is this resolution supposed to supplant the existing stipends that the assembly currently receives of, I believe, $500, $600 a month?
They get $6,500 a year.
$6,500 a year. And I think in part of the earlier conversations, that's the balancing act of the healthcare contribution versus a $6,500 stipend. And in the middle, if you opt out of the healthcare plan, you are getting a $3,600 stipend, because part of the IRS impacts are based around the word stipend and using that as a specific cash out. If you have an employee contribution that is equal to, or an employer contribution that is equal to $28,000 or whatever the total is on the premium basis, if they're opting out, does the legislative branch presume that that funding comes back to them the same way the current stipend allocation does? Or is this the healthcare plan, and if you opt out of it, you get the optional $300, but if you are in it, you are in it?
This is
Okay.
Karen. When, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I thought we were talking about this before, that we would look at bringing them into the health care benefits that existing employees have. So we would do away with the stipend. This would replace it. And so if they opted out of the insurance, they get the $6,500 a year, $300 a month, whatever it works out to. Because I think it was like that all goes away, and this is what we would put in place.
And if there were amended language being considered, I would say including something to clarify that move is intended to replace what currently occurs. And then we can work that out on the budget side of it to make sure that that's accurate.
Kim?
I wanted to start the process of suggesting the amendment so we can move through just the section 2 paragraph there. And it's not in legalese, it's just in Kim-ese. And I wanted to check with other folks to see if this, passes muster, but can it just say assembly members shall be entitled to the municipal contribution for health benefits equal to municipal employees? Can it be something that simple? Can it just say that? Do we have to clarify what type of employee they are? Can it just say assembly members shall be entitled to the municipal contribution for health insurance equal to municipal employees for health benefits if they choose to opt in? Like, what do we need to have in there That's kind of where I'm going.
Yes, you would need to clarify which group because we have different bargaining units. Different bargaining units receive different municipal contributions.
So we can say that they're not executive employees. We can just say equal to the executive employees. Okay. We think more about that and how we're going to write that out.
Yeah, I think it seems like if we wanted to move forward with a resolution on on the health benefits, that we should remove the reference to life and retirement. And you could easily add language that said other entitlements to participate in other benefits that remain unchanged, something like that. And but specifically refer to the removal of the stipend and substituting it with this treatment. And I actually had one question. You confused me only on one thing. There was a reference to 4,500 and a reference to 3,600. What was the difference between those two numbers? I mean, I know what the difference is. What was it? What caused those two numbers to be talked about?
One is the total dollar amount that you would receive opting out of the healthcare plan as an executive, which is $300 a month, I believe.
It's actually $350.
$350 a month versus the current assembly stipend of $500 a month.
Okay, so the 45 actually was a misstatement. It's 350 times
Yes.
12.
Math on the
Actually-
fly.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
Right, it's to represent that it's a slight decrease in if you are currently not receiving healthcare benefits, you are taking the stipend at $500 a month. In the new protocol, if you opted out of the healthcare plan, you would be taking home $350 a month. So it's
Got
a,
it.
it's
Okay, I
a
got it.
little bit of balance. There you go.
So this is Karen. Since we were talking about IRS documents, does healthcare, is it considered compensation then?
Healthcare does not get reported under your gross income, but healthcare does get reported. The municipal contribution does get reported on your W-2. And if somebody were quoting a compensation package, healthcare would be included. And for OMB purposes, healthcare is part of compensation calculations.
So why I bring this up is because in this resolution of effective date, they're recognizing 5.08 of municipal charter where it says a decision of the commission not affecting the compensation of elected officials takes effect at the beginning of the next fiscal year of the municipality. So with that, so if we are saying that this is not compensation, okay, then it would be effective January 1st.
Through the chair to member Norsworthy, I'm not quite clear on the effectiveness of the resolution as far as there being a January 1 start date, because technically the members have to be reelected in order to be eligible for the healthcare benefits to kick in. So even if this was effective on January 1st, there would be no costs associated with it until May after certification of the official election in April. And so to some degree, there is optional requirements for whatever the effective date is, but there are certainly practical implementation requirements. Right now, the funding is not budgeted within the department in order to pay for any contributions for the members who do opt in starting in May, but that would be part of the first quarter budget revision process that we would go through pending the outcome of the commission's actions on this resolution.
Karen, if I can clarify, I think I was looking over Karen's shoulder at this, what she's looking at through that's in the charter. it looks to me as though that paragraph in its entirety defines compensation as including benefits. So I don't think that we would necessarily be taking an action that's outside of compensation, which is what would trigger what you were concerned about.
Question through the chair for Kim. Your amendments, I was writing them down. I think if it is acceptable to separate them into their own sections for clarity, if that is something that you would agree to. And then I almost have it typed up, and through the chair, it may be possible for a short recess when you're done discussing for me to get these printed and distributed.
That would be great.
Well, I definitely think that we should have what we are proposing to act on in writing in front of us in its final form. So, because it's a pretty convoluted change. So sure, we can recess. How much time do you need? Okay, so let me, before we do recess, so let me paraphrase Kim's.
Yeah.
So
You want me
I
to do
think,
it?
yeah, what, could you say what your language would read in Kim E's?
Yeah, and kidneys, yeah, non-worries. And I changed it a little bit, but something to the effect, and let's make sure we all agree with this before we recess, but assembly members shall be entitled to opt in to the health benefits with municipal contribution equal to other executive employees. It's just one of the changes we need to make. Yep, shall be eligible to opt in to the health benefits with municipal contribution, or however you want to word that, but that's the essence. Equal to other executive employees, so we know who we're looking at for that contribution. And then we know we need to put language in there that says this, we can talk to Matt about that. Do we need to say this supplants this, this gets rid of the stipend, this is in place, the stipend does not exist anymore, something, whatever we need to do, clarify that, yeah.
That, just say, that makes sense to me, and if there's any confusion remaining, I would say that opting in, but then opting back out entitles you to the 4,200. The 350 times 12. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe opting in and then opting back out isn't, maybe that's how it actually works. So, okay, so maybe that's the right language.
But maybe just saying that they're eligible for the benefits, because then you can either opt in or opt out.
So does that make sense, Pat? You understand what we're, okay.
Judy,
Yeah.
is our on-the-phone member?
Yeah,
have any-
Judy, sorry. Do you have any questions, or do you follow what we're doing here?
No, I'm tracking. I'm all good. Thanks so much.
Okay. So why don't we recess until 20 after? Okay, I'm going to call, oh, sorry. I'm going to call the meeting back to order just for a moment to say that we aren't ready yet. So we will recess for, and for whatever amount of time it takes to get this done, but my best guess is it'll be about 10 minutes. Is that it? Fair? So I expect.
Yeah,
we
no
will
sweat.
come back
Thanks
to
for letting me
order.
know.
Okay, so we're back in recess for what is, I expect to be another 10 minutes. Okay, I call the meeting back to order because we are up against the posted original time for the meeting, and we are going to need to extend so we can finish our business. Is there a motion to extend the meeting?
This is Karen. Move to extend the meeting by 20 minutes?
This,
Oh, go ahead.
this is Pat, second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to extending the meeting? Hearing none, we're extended for another 20 minutes till 3:50, and I think that will be adequate time for us to finish what we're doing. We just have had circulated a revised draft resolution 2024-2, and we'll take a minute, just pause and let every member read through it. Okay, has everyone had a chance to read through the revised draft?
This is Pat. I would move approval of Resolution 2024-2 as amended on the, regarding the healthcare benefits for assembly members.
Pat, before there's a second, I think the correct motion would be to move to amend your previous motion with the consent of the second and replace it with this.
I so move.
This is Kim. I second Pat's motion to amend.
Okay, is there any objection to the motion to amend the original motion so that now this will have the effect of being the main motion and it will be the revised resolution 2024-2, which is in front of us? Hearing none, we now have the revised as the main motion. Discussion.
This is
Yeah.
Karen. It's just a small thing for me, and maybe the benefits folks can tell me, where it says their health benefits as received by executive. Just so it's not linked with executive, should we put executive and non-rep employees?
That is valid. Executives and non-reps are categorized together. So I concur.
Okay, so I have no problem with it, but so you think it reads better if we make that clarification? If so, I think you can move to amend it, move to amend the main motion with those addition of those words.
Okay, this is Karen. I move to amend health benefits as received by executive and non-represented employees.
This is Kim. I'll second that amendment.
And under discussion, I'll just say that from my understanding, the effect of this amendment is because executive and non-representatives are, under the current system, one group. This is just to make sure we're referring to the correct group, and there's nothing else in that. Is there any objection to the amendment? Hearing none, the amendment's approved. We're back to the main motion. Karen, again?
I have another amendment I'd like to make in the second whereas. The commission believes the assembly members should receive the same, and then insert health benefits.
Inserting, so your motion is to insert the word health on that line, same health benefits as.
Yes.
This is Kim. I'll second that amendment.
Is there any discussion of the amendment? Any objection to the amendment? Okay, so that second amendment, I guess it's third now, is approved. Further discussion on the main motion?
This is Kim. I just, in discussion, it's not a question or amendment, but I think I find this to be kind of where we were going in our meetings. We were talking about this. It can be a complicated subject. I appreciate all the information we got from municipal staff and former assembly members about the process and what people are looking for. Because as we've discussed, we want to make sure that a variety of different people from diverse backgrounds are interested in serving as elected officials. And I think this is a step towards that. And I'm hoping that this language is clear enough for the folks who have to implement it and make sense to the public as well. So I'm planning to support the motion to approve this resolution. Thank you.
Pat?
I just want to say, I hope we approve this because it's been a long time coming and it's definitely a move in the right direction.
Karen?
I want to say, I'd like to thank Pete Peterson for his presentation many months ago and bringing this forward for us to consider and look at. And thank you.
Actually, the only comment that I would add is I just wanted to clarify for anybody who's listening that the parts of this resolution, section 3 and section 4, are intended to state, as far as I understand it, that this resolution isn't changing anything except the health benefits. So however that reads, it doesn't mean that something's changing there. This resolution is just about health benefits. Oh. Matt? Is there,
Oh,
sure.
on to that?
Yes, let's do it. Is there any member of the public who wishes to testify on this?
Oh, there's some.
Oh, okay. Austin?
Austin, if you are online, we cannot hear you, but I do see you talking.
Ranting and raving, they can't. Oh, laughing?
No, I thought I heard a click of a connection. Austin, we can't hear you, but you can always submit your testimony in writing. So is there anybody else from the public who wishes to testify? Okay, hearing none, we'll consider public testimony closed. Is there any further discussion on the main motion? Are we ready for the question? Okay.
I do have one question.
Is that Judy?
This is Judy.
Yeah, go ahead.
I understand that we wanted to modify this to be more specific. It's my understanding, or I guess my goal would have been to bring the assembly members' benefits package in line, closer to the mayor's, considering, the legislative
Could you hear me
branch is
now?
certainly different. Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I called back in. Sorry if I spoke over someone. I was speaking before, but for some reason you guys couldn't hear me.
Yeah, no, it'd be great to reopen public testimony. Let's go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I think there was some glitch in the system because I was talking. Just wanted to thank you all for your time today and for your service on this commission. And really thank you for working hard to include healthcare for members. I think that it will lead to an assembly that is more reflective of the community and will be a big help in recruiting people who want to serve their communities. I still don't understand why, having served in both roles, why a mayor should be eligible for covered life insurance and other benefits and the assembly members should not. I think that's a mistake and a failing of today's meeting. I realized the HR folks kept saying it's voluntary, and so it's there, but voluntary means you pay for it, which when you make $60,000 a year and work full time isn't all that helpful. So I would just like to put a pin in that and hope that you guys will return to this. The mayor makes over twice as much money as assembly members, and everyone's working hard, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me to separate out who gets what benefits and have them be different. That said, it's a big change and benefit to have assembly members have healthcare coverage. Long time coming, and I really appreciate all of you who work to make this happen. Thanks so much.
Okay, well, thank you. And since we've reopened public testimony, I'll ask once more if there's anyone else from the public who wishes to testify. Hey, hearing you didn't get to. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Judy, if you're still on, I know you didn't get to finish. Did you want to ask, you had some questions?
The question that I had was similar to Austin's concern, is just wanting to understand better why we would treat the other life benefit and short-term disability benefits differently for the assembly members than we would for the mayor. That's not something that I had a very clear understanding of before we were working on the modifications, but it doesn't land quite right with me either, that it should be left to stay that way. Given that the legislative branch is certainly supposed to be a check, it's not a lesser than position, rather just a different capacity.
Thank you. Karen?
Karen, Judy, just to kind of respond back, I don't think we necessarily consider it lesser than. It's just that what was brought forward to us by former assembly members was asked for health benefits. They didn't ask for any other benefits. And during all of the testimony that happened when former assembly member Pete Peterson brought his presentation forward, and those that spoke, I did ask every single person what they thought benefits included, and they all said it was limited to health. And so that's what we focused on. That's what was brought forward to us. So I hope that helps. Thank you.
I agree with Karen. That was the question that was raised to everybody who testified. Disability, though, is directly tied to leave accrual, and assembly members do not earn leave. They either are there or they are not. Whereas an employee who is unable to work because of a disability, whether it's a temporary disability or a long-term disability, that is a benefit that is available to them to bridge that gap should they need it, because they do receive leave, whereas assembly members do not.
Regarding the mayor, at one time, I believe it's been a number of years, but we made it, the mayor is considered a 24-hour, on-call 24 hours. And I do not, while the assembly seems to be, that officially they're not considered on call 24 hours. That's one of the differences, but anyway, that's.
I want to, I don't want to cut off debate, but I just want to remind people that we extended until 3:50 and it's now 3:45. So if we think that we need to debate it further, we can extend again. Otherwise, maybe we should go to the question. Are you ready for the question? Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm resolved for now.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote on this one again. Matthew, you can call the roll, please.
Member Norsworthy. Member Rieger.
Yes.
Member Hayes.
Yes.
Member Redmond.
Yes.
Member Jesse.
Yes.
There's 5 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay, the motion carries. That brings us on the agenda. I believe there's no other unfinished business. Is there any new business?
Chair Rieger, are we required to set another meeting in this meeting? Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Are there member comments? Once more on call for any anyone from the public who wishes to testify. And finally, last item on the agenda is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
This is Karen. I'll move to adjourn.
This is Kim, I'll second.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, we're adjourned at 3:46.